The mental midgets, I'm going to be kind of myopic here, and we're going to call them our gambling 101 dropouts, right? It's if you watched all my videos and you still aren't doing it, well, then I guess that's on you. But I want you to not be this guy, right? Fight through the urge to not be satisfied. Fight through the. Thus far in our Gambling 101 series, we've been talking a lot about mentality, about psychology, about your approach to the game, approach to gambling, and just kind of like your personal demeanor and kind of go forward plan in general. In this session, I want to talk about being quote unquote that guy or that gal or that person. What do I mean by that? What I mean by that is the person who rolls up with bad etiquette, who has a poor demeanor, who is what you might term a mental midget. And these are things that are going to change a lot of things at the tables, right? It'll change the energy, the vibe, the whatever you want to call it. Now, I'm not really a believer in, energy causing you to lose money or the dice to go bad or the shoe to go south. But I am a huge believer in the idea that when these things happen, when you're put into a bad situation, you're going to make mistakes. So if this is happening around you, you've got people with poor etiquette or they're being sore losers or whatever it is, you can lose your focus. If you allow it to get to you, you can lose your focus. And when you lose focus, you make bad decisions. And I want to try and prevent us or help us making good decisions all the time, right? If it's you that falls into some of these categories, then you're the one that are causing other people to lose focus. And in fact, if your personal mood is down, you're going to lose focus as well and put yourself in a bad place. And all of this leads to bad things happening. Again, it's not like the energy caused it. It's that the energy, the side effect of that, I think, is people going, what did I just hear? And all of a sudden you're forgetting where you're at. And before you know it, you're not pulling the bet down or increasing a bet or whatever it is. Got to be careful of that. We got to find ways for us to stay in the game. And that's why we care. So let's dive into a couple things and just kind of give you a quick overview here. First, we'll talk about bad etiquette. Now, what is etiquette? It's the social contract, right? It's what we've agreed as players, how we agree to play the game kind of with each other and experience those tables. There's no rules there. The casino does not have a rule in craps that says you have to buy in when the puck is off. You should, because otherwise it slows the whole game down and it makes somebody who might have been in rhythm have to wait, right? It just aggravates people. Keeping your hands off the table so the dice don't hit you, late betting. There's things you can do at a craps table to kind of keep the flow of the game going. And when the flow of the game gets hit or obstructed, like a stick in a gear or something like that, it grinds down and the mood comes down and people, again, lose focus, including yourself, and it can be a problem, right? Because you're going to get called out for some of those things. And again, you might lose your focus. At the roulette table, we don't like the reach around. We don't like the reaching over. We don't like people shoving their way in to make their bets. It's a crowded situation. You're doing your own betting, unlike a craps table. And it can be a mess if it's not done right. And again, once you figure out the rhythm of that, and it's a nice little dance that everybody does, that game is so much more enjoyable. And again, know your bets, know where you need to stand, get your stuff in. Poker, boy, there's entire websites about poker etiquette, right? And a couple things here, right? Stop talking about the hand you're in. Don't, be telling fishtails about your bad beat or your great win. Don't slow roll your wins like an idiot. Don't pump fake when you're gonna shove in and hitting and running, right? I mean, there's lots of things in poker that you can do that would cause an etiquette, a breach of etiquette, right? And again, there's no rules against it. It's one of those things where it sucks down the energy of everybody. And again, we always about keeping focused. I think a lot of this boils down to your mental state while your money's at risk. And when your mental state while your money's at risk is at risk or at a low point, bad things happen, meaning poor decision making. Okay, so what else? Poor demeanor. And again, this is one of those energy things, but you've all been around the bad winner and the bad loser, right? The guy or the gal at the blackjack table loses their cool when the shoe goes bad, or they have to hit the 16 and they're just, the whole world's coming to an end, right? These folks, again, bring down the energy to the point where they're drawing the attention of you as a player, as their partners, everybody gets drawn into that. And before you know it, when it's your turn to go, you forget where you are. You might make a wrong move or, again, not progress your bets, right? Same thing with the super exuberant winners, right? And the guys that are in your face. It's just, again, it's going to take you off your game. You've got to be here all the time, right? The cranky McCrankersons. I fall into this category sometimes, right? You have a bad day for whatever reason, and you're at the casino. You bring that attitude with you to the table. Trust me, your focus will not be there. If your focus isn't there because your own life is going bad or you had a bad day or whatever, right? Not the time to be in the casino, because again, your focus being shifted away from what's important, which is your goals and your strategy and whatever else. You're just giving the casino extra edge. You're going to make a dumb choice and give them extra money. We don't want to do that, right? You've been around crass and rude people. They just kind of like you're eye rolling, and again, you're over here instead of right here, and that's never a good thing, right? The loudmouth player, the know-it-alls. God, the know-it-alls drive you crazy, don't they? These people that are telling you how to bet. Blackjack is notorious for this, right? And the know-it-alls, right? The guy, oh, you should have hit that. Or because you didn't hit that, you screwed up my hand, or you ruined the integrity of the shoe, and all these things. These people will drive you insane, right? And again, now they got you second guessing yourself, and now everything you're looking over here to see if you got it right. That can become piled on, and again, you make worse and worse decisions over time if you let it get to you. Craps table, same thing. I played with a guy a while back, and I've told you the story before, where he was a dealer somewhere and he was here on vacation, and we have a break-in casino up here. This guy was in the dealer's grill the whole time, telling her how to deal, what hand to put the chips in. And it was like, God, just play the game and let her do her thing. And what happens is she's second guessing herself. The box is giving this guy the stink eye. We're all getting annoyed. And before you know it, you forget to regress, or you forget where you are. And your bets get jacked up because you're just so verklempt over this situation. And again, it's up to you to be mentally strong enough to kind of push that aside, but it's hard in the moment. And that's why I say don't be that guy, because you put yourself in a situation. That guy was probably doing all the calculations and not thinking about his own stuff the whole time, right? He was also, this same guy, a Mr. Mrs. Right kind of guy, where, he knew everything and we were all betting like idiots, and he was trying to educate the whole table. And it's like, at some point, just play your own game, but again, when he's doing that, everybody else is now unfocused. And in the moment when you're unfocused, as I've said before, bad things can happen to you or by you. You might just make a bad choice because you're not plugged in. And all of these things are things that you may be doing without realizing it. You may be a part of a table where it's happening. All of it will take you from here to here and have you diverted. We don't want your attention diverted from what's important. And that's an important piece to all this, okay? So next is, I guess to summarize, right? It's the mental midgets, right? The mental midgets, and you can be this guy too, right? I can classify you as a mental midget if you fall into these categories. And I think a lot of us do. I certainly do. I've done all of these things in front of you live, right? When I roll live, when I practice here at the table, when I do my live rollouts, I have exercised plenty of times lack of discipline. Right? I've gotten angry at myself and I've done something dumb, and I'm like, that's it, we're going all in. Right? I've done it. I've shown you lack of discipline and how it destroys a bankroll. If you are never satisfied, how many times have I said to you, my win goal today is $250 and I get the $215 and I'm like, we're $45 away. One more shooter, and there it goes. We lose $500, chasing the last $40. Sometimes close enough is good enough, right? Sometimes not. Sometimes close enough is good enough. If you're not satisfied and you're always kind of pushing down on the gas, you can have a problem. And again, that's a mental midget move. That is me being small-minded. That's me saying, I'm gonna let discipline go by the wayside because I'm not satisfied. And again, you make a bad decision as a result. You're not focused because you're mad about what happened, and guess what happens? Boom. The whole thing just goes into the toilet, and it happens. And again, this sometimes is you are this way all the time. This could be a momentary thing, and something back in here or back in here can turn you into a mental midget for the moment. And you're gonna, all of a sudden, you're gonna jump out of your discipline and have a problem. So be careful about that, right? The mental midgets, I'm gonna be kind of myopic here, and we're gonna call them our gambling 101 dropouts, right? It's if you watched all my videos and you still aren't doing it, well, then I guess that's on you. But I want you to not be this guy, right? Fight through the urge to not be satisfied. Fight through the urge to break discipline and make good decisions. Okay. So what do you want to be? Don't be that guy. Be this guy, right? Play by our principles, right? And the principles that I talk about all the time, this having a solid set of goals, having a workable strategy, having a couple of strategies that'll account for the way that you want to win, right? Having a bankroll that'll support you during the losses and carry you through while your strategy is kind of building up its steam. Have a solid mindset, have strong discipline, know your game, understand variance. All these things are very important, right? Without them, you can't be this guy, right? And it sounds like work, right? Having all the discipline and the goals and the bankroll and all these things seems like it's a lot of work. But trust me, when you practice it and you're good at it and your mind is right and you're kind of on autopilot with a lot of that stuff, you'll enjoy the game more. You'll be able to experience the craps table, the roulette table, the big streak on whatever game you're playing, because the rest of it just comes natural because you're not a mental midget. You're mentally strong. You're this guy, right? You're there to fight the good fight. I warn you though, listen to your signals. We say this all the time. When your hackles go up, when the hair on your arm stands up or the hair on your neck stands up, or you get that feeling, sometimes that your body's telling you something, and maybe just for the sake of whatever, listen to what's your body is telling you. Sometimes it's best to walk away when it's not in your best interest to be there. And it may or may not mean you're winning or losing. It just may be time to walk away. So listen to your signals. I remind you also, being this guy means tipping well. Your dealers are busting their tails for very little base pay, right? They depend on tips. Them, the waitresses, everybody else does. So be this guy, tip well. And I say this, I'll leave you here, which is to be a good story, right? Be the story. Like, I tell a lot of stories about this idiot or this guy didn't like, or that guy didn't like, whatever it is. Don't be that story. Be the good story. Be the story that me or somebody else tells about the really cool person they played next to who had this really great move and they were able to, whatever. Be a good story, right? Be somebody else's fishtail. Don't be somebody else's tale of woe, or, don't be that guy in somebody else's story, right? I think all that increases the enjoyment of the game for you, and you have to work through it. You have to work hard, again, to play by the principles. This takes focus. It takes mental discipline. And when you're strong mentally and you have all of these things kind of lined up, you will enjoy the game more. It'll give you the fuel to fight. Okay. And that's it. So be this guy. Don't be this guy with the bad etiquette, with the bad demeanor, and who's a mental midget, right? I challenge you to stay focused. And then again, two ways to do that, right? In the face of it, when it's going on around you, you've got to just learn how to tune that out. Tune it out, right? Ears closed, blinders on, and work through it and be mentally strong. If you feel like you're going down the road of one of these areas, you got to take that breath. If you're angry, if you're cranky, if you're whatever, take the breath, turn your bets off, take a few hands off, and just kind of find your center and go back to it again. I think focus, attitude, all those things lead to better decisions. This to me is the important piece, right? Making good decisions is really based on how strong you are up here. And I think we all need that inner strength. So with that said, there it is. Don't be that guy. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Thanks for watching. Please feel free to leave us a comment here in the comment section for the video, but really better still, join us on Discord. Go to casinogaming.tv and hit the community link in the menu there and join our Discord. That's where me, other YouTubers, and all of our subscribers hang out. We sit there and talk strategy and just BS kind of all day long. It's a great way to get connected and stay connected and kind of interact with the team, learn about meetups and get-togethers and all that kind of stuff. So with all that said, again, thanks for watching. I really appreciate your time. God bless you, and I will see you in the next one.